Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello. I hope this is recording properly. I never tried to record just random desktop-based programs before with mirrorless action, but we'll see. We'll see one way or the other. Hi everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to a little behind-the-scenes look, I suppose, at things. Since I could not be bothered to find anything else to put up in the background in the meantime, anyway, I suppose I could have just fished up some old footage from other videos I've done. In fact, I might just do that anyway, but never mind. Yeah, Sunny Vegas. I hate this program. I really do. I truly hate it. It crashes at the drop of a hat like every 5 flipping minutes when you're trying to edit stuff together, and it doesn't render stuff properly, and you get sound glitches, and you get all sorts of lovely stuff. I just truly hate it. Plus, the codec that I used to render the videos with, to the format that I want for YouTube, for some reason makes the videos really dark, so I have to do loads of post-processing crap, which makes it even take even longer to render. And oh my god, just guys, like, if there's some of you out there watching this and thinking, what program should I use to make videos for YouTube with? Do not pick this one. For God's sake, do not pick this one. The only reason I still use it is because I got this copy when I was at university from a film student, a friend of mine, and it's the best I've got without having to pay a fortune for something to replace it with. Although I am thinking of getting one of those like subscriptions to Adobe, whereby you can get like Premiere Plus or whatever, Premiere Pro, and whatever it's called, for like a certain amount per month, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Sony Vegas sucks. Don't bother with it. I just put up with it because it's the devil I know, I suppose. But anyway, so happy New Year, everybody. I hope you've all had a lovely Christmas and New Year and all that sort of stuff. Mine was alright. Looking forward to 2017. I'm sort of quite optimistic about this year. 2016 was a bit shite. Well, it had its ups and downs, but by and large it was mostly a bit shite. On an individual level, as well as sort of just a general level, I suppose. But don't really fancy discussing that anyway, so screw that. Anyway, this year we're making some changes. I have alluded to this in previous videos. Did I really just say previous? I don't know. My brain today just, I don't know. Whatever synapse it is that connects my mouth to the rest of my brain is clearly having difficulties this afternoon, but never mind anyway. So, yeah, we're making some changes in 2017 and stuff. We're basically, I just want to get back on the YouTube properly now. Now that I've had a year of some ups and downs, some things working out, some things not working out. We did a few experiments with various things, some that worked, some that didn't, and by and large, I want to correct the things that didn't work and keep up the things that did. And I know I'm talking in awfully vague terms at the minute, so yeah, well, anyway. Last year we did not do a lot of YouTube stuff, it has to be said. I did not do a lot of YouTube channel stuff. I did upload when I could, but it was fairly sparse, really, when it came to, actual videos uploaded per week or whatever like that. Whole bunch of reasons for that. Mostly, though, it boils down to being busy with other stuff and also just lack of enthusiasm for what we're actually doing, unfortunately. Just being stuck with the same old shit and getting a bit tired of it, really, to be honest with you. I've been doing YouTube now for a number of years, 5 or 6 now, I should think, if I remember correctly. About 5 or 6 years. And, some things are starting to get a bit old, I suppose. I did try and change things up a bit last year. Obviously, what I did was I started up a second channel, which I decided I was going to put like flight sim things on, for example, because one of my big passions in PC gaming obviously is flight sim, because I'm a real world aviation fanatic, in addition to loving flight sims in general, because after all, the first Windows PC game I ever owned was a copy of Microsoft's Combat Flight Simulator. So I started with flight sims, and only really got into RPGs and RTS and all that kind of other stuff much later down the line, honestly, really. I mean, first computer I ever had was not first computer, I mean, I had an Amstrad way before that, but first Windows PC that I ever had was in 1998. I'd played on a friend's before that, obviously, and that kind of thing, but first one our family actually owned was in 1998, and obviously the first thing we had for it was Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator. And after that, I think we got Combat Flight Simulator 2, and then Jane's World War II Fighters, if I recall, and then probably sometime after that, IL-2 Sturmovik, the original one. So yeah, obviously that's been a big part of my PC gaming life for a long, long time. And I decided to put it on another channel because, I don't know, I just didn't want to put up with people bothering me for not making other videos, or just because I figured people wouldn't be interested, or whatever. And to be honest with you, the experiment didn't really work, because what ended up happening was I was dividing my time between two channels when I had barely enough for one at the time, plus a Twitch channel as well, which is one thing that did work out well this year. I didn't get the Twitch partnership in the end, but through Patreon and sort of stream donations and that kind of thing, it's actually sort of paid its own way in a quite dramatic fashion anyway, actually. So that did work out in the end, just not in quite the way as I was expecting it to, but I'm happy it did work out nevertheless. But anyway, I think it was starting the second channel in the way that I did was a poor idea, bit of a poor idea, and therefore I'm gonna rectify that error, and we're gonna change things up a bit. Before I get onto that, though, we'll just do a quick rundown of the stuff that we do currently have going on, just so we can get this out of the way, because otherwise I'm sure you people will be asking me in the comments about this stuff anyway. So, RE, the status of various things we already have going at the minute. Morrowind, obviously, I've started uploading videos for that again, and that's fine. I will continue to do so for the foreseeable future, because I enjoy playing that game quite a lot. After all these years, I still really do enjoy it, so that's fine. No worries there. Skyrim is not cancelled or anything like that. I know it's been a very long time, but I did warn you when we did end that chapter, the last chapter of it, whatever it was. Was it chapter 6? I don't know. I can't remember. I did warn you when we ended that it would be a very long break, and it is continuing to be a very long break, to be honest with you. Because I don't know. I am sort of, I'll be brutally honest, sick to death of Skyrim completely. I'm done with it. I'm just so fed up of that game. I've played it to death. Really, that is the problem. I've played it to absolute fucking death, and I did try and get back into it a little bit reasonably recently. I did a few Skyrim streams on Twitch. But I didn't enjoy those either in the end. It just sort of was a combination of me having played the game to death already, and also just the certain people in the audience just, I think, being very immature, and just, it was not an enjoyable experience, basically, really, is what I'm saying, streaming Skyrim. So that was another failed experiment from the last year that won't be coming back anytime soon. So I apologise if you did enjoy those streams, but the problem is I really didn't. I couldn't. By the final one that was done, I was just like, I'm not doing this again. It's not happening. So this is awfully negative, isn't it? It's a shame. Never mind. So anyway, Skyrim will be coming back at some point, but it's when I've got my gathered enough, just enough enthusiasm together for me to sort of do the final bit of it, final chapter, and the last hurrah, if you like, and then actually just get it done and squared away and finished, and say, goodbye to Skyrim, goodbye to Claudius, and say that's his story finished and wrapped up and done. It took fucking long enough, didn't it? Good grief. But I do intend to finish it, for sure, as long as the save game holds together, and I see no reason why it shouldn't, to be honest with you. It seems to be okay so far. It's had its issues, but we've fixed them. I probably will have some issues if I ever end up going to Markarth. Because I will have a bunch of locked door bugs, probably. Although maybe it won't be affected because I've never actually been there in the game yet, but we'll see. Although I'm beginning to think I might actually be able to finish the entire Let's Play series without ever having once been to Markarth, and that would be funny. Like, actually going into the city itself. But I'm tempted to just try and do that, if anything, to prove a point about how oddly designed Skyrim is in terms of so the way its quests and things are structured and that sort of thing, and the way it makes use of its own game world. But anyway, never mind. But I will finish it. I'm determined to. I've put too much work and effort into that series to just sort of let it just peter off into nowhere, really, on a cliffhanger, I guess. That's just not going to happen. It will be finished one day, but I don't know when that's going to be. That's all I'm saying, really. It's still on my hard drive. It's still sat there wasting precious, valuable, bloody space on my SSD. It's not going anywhere yet. New Vegas is, I don't know, on a break, I guess. A bit of an arbitrary one, to be honest with you, but I just stopped playing and haven't felt the need to go back to it since. New Vegas is a game that I do like, but I just sort of, I'm not really in the mood for it at the moment, or up for it at all. Again, I will come back to that eventually at some point, for sure. I'm definitely not done with New Vegas at all by any stretch of the imagination, but at the moment, not really feeling it, honestly. Just not really, I think about my save game where I left it and all that sort of thing, and the quests and stuff I was supposed to be doing, and that sort of stuff. And I am filled with an overwhelming feeling of meh. I just don't. Nothing. I don't sit there and remember New Vegas where I left it off and think to myself, "Oh God, yes, I want to play New Vegas." I don't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, you know what? I really feel like I'm in the mood to play a bit of Fallout right now." That doesn't seem to happen at the moment. And that's fairly normal, to be honest with you, for anyone who plays video games. You just sometimes you're in the mood for certain games, and sometimes you're just really fucking not. So, and unfortunately, Let's Players suffer from that as well. And that's just the way it is. I'd kind of hoped to get to a bloody chapter break with New Vegas before I actually left it for a serious amount of time, but we'd never really made it that far. Like, I kept thinking I'm really close to the end of this chapter, and then it turned out I wasn't. And it was getting kind of annoying, really, so eventually I just had to stop recording episodes of it due to some weird circumstances beyond my control. And then after about a week or so, I was just like, no, I really don't feel like going back to it. But again, that's sort of on hold at the minute, but it's not gone anywhere. There's nothing wrong with it. The installation's fine, the save game is fine. Nothing about it is broken or anything. It's literally just sort of sat there, patiently waiting for me to come back to it whenever I happen to feel like it. Other stuff. Mountain Blade. I think I made it clear from the start of that one that Mountain Blade is a game, and I think many of you who do play Mountain Blade out there will probably agree with me that Mountain Blade is a game that you tend to play almost obsessively for very short periods of time, and then after that you just stop playing it completely. And I made it kind of clear from the start of that series that it would be a case of I'll play this until I get bored of it, and then I'll come back either with a new character, or we'll carry this on whenever I feel like doing a bit more Mountain Blade and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, Mountain Blade is super duper duper grindy. It's really, really grindy, and if you're not up for that, then you're just not up for it, eh? So, but I don't know. I think I might get back to it at some point in the near future. I'm getting the itch again. It's the grinding combined with the difficulty, really, that can make it a real slog. You sort of have to reach past a certain point where your character gets actually quite powerful, and to a point where they can hold their own in various battles and things like that. Without having to constantly save scum, obviously, because you can just do that, and it makes life a lot easier. But I'm trying not to, for the purposes of the video series, because it can be a bit cheesy if you just save scum all of the time. So yeah. But the Clash of Kings mod is pretty damn awesome. There's probably been a new version of it released by now, but I don't know whether or not you can sort of update it without breaking save games and things like that, so I'm probably just going to leave it alone for now. But it is a really cool mod, for sure. And I have a feeling that probably when the next season of Game of Thrones does eventually roll around, I will probably feel a little inspired to go make a bunch of Clash of Kings videos whenever that happens anyway as well. So, in fact, I bought a friend of mine the whole season 1 to 6 or whatever box set for Game of Thrones for Christmas, and I'm probably going to end up sitting down and watching that with them anyway. So yeah, we'll see. I still have all the books actually, now that I think about it, but I've gotten stuck on the second one, Is it the second? Yeah, the second one. I got about halfway through it, and the books are wonderful. But if you've already watched the series, the early books at least can feel really just like a bit like you're reading a novelization of something you've already watched. Because they are fairly similar. There's a few extra bits in there, obviously, because it's a book and it's much longer. But it can be a bit. It feels a bit like you're rereading a book you've already read in the first place, if that makes sense. It's not quite the same as reading something brand new. But whatever. Anyway, other stuff. Let's see. Oh yeah, roguelike stuff. Because I know I did some Caves of Cud videos and things like that, and people ask me every now and again, "Are you going to do some more Caves of Cud?" I think I might do at some point. The latest versions of it are pretty nice. Caves of Cud's bloody frustrating, but it is quite fun as well. It has a really cool sort of little world in it. Very imaginative and creative and stuff, even if it is presented in the form of like sort of different coloured pixels. And the other thing is, at some point, I want to make a couple of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead videos. Cataclysm is another sort of roguelike type game. It's set in a weird sort of zombie demon apocalypse of doom, and in spite of the silliness of it, it's actually like super duper realistic, and it's got like just incredible amounts of depth. Especially if you're used to playing something made by Bethesda. Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead can actually play a lot like playing sort of a Fallout game, actually, except it doesn't have any of the eye candy, but it makes up for that with just oodles and oodles and oodles of depth. In terms of just, the actual raw mechanics and things like that. It's a really cool game. It's completely free, by the way, as well, actually. That's one of the best things about it. It's totally free. And I do recommend you check it out at some point if you're curious, because holy crap, it's one of the best games I think I've ever played in my life. But I'd love to do some videos of that at some point. It's just a case of finding the time. So for those of you who've been asking about that, yeah, that's probably going to happen at some point. There's other games like that too that I'd like to have a bash at. I have a whole little short list of stuff in my head that I've been meaning to get around to for quite a while. A lot of it is just sort of, it comes down to very simple technical issues, like how do I record this properly with my current software, and and make it look good. Like even Mountain Blade, funnily enough, was actually quite a pain, to be honest with you, to actually record properly, because I had weird aspect ratio issues with it that required me to do a bit of cropping and stuff in Sony Vegas here, which was actually quite annoying. Like, cropping anything in Sony Vegas is a massive pain in the arse. I try not to do it whenever possible, but because it's too easy to fuck it up and then have some weird animation glitches and stuff throughout the video, which you don't generally tend not to notice until after it's gone up on YouTube and people start complaining about it. So, never mind. That's the new episode, by the way, this one over here, of Morrowind, which I probably will upload before I upload this video, so you will have already seen it, I would imagine, by now, if you're watching this. But yeah, there's that, and then there's the previous one, then the one before that, and the one before that, and then you've got these fancy like title bits in here, which have like really fancy rendering effects on them to make the text look all embossed and nice like that, and also just like animated as well. But you can't, I can't play it back unless I do a selective pre-render, they call it, which takes extra time. So if you try and play this back in the preview, it gets all laggy and weird and nearly crashes Sony Vegas. So it's yeah. Anyway, you're probably not interested in that technical bullshit, are you? Anyway, and how many times can you say "anyway" in a sentence without being sent to prison by the grammar police? One wonders. What else? Oh yeah, I do have some questions sent my way about Knights of the Old Republic every now and again. That one, really, if I'd had the foresight at the time, I would have literally, as soon as we'd rescued Bastila, I would have literally just sort of done a chapter break type thing at that point, really, because that was a good point to sort of leave off and take a break from it, really. So as far as that one is concerned, just pretend that I did that, yeah? Okay, just pretend I did a fancy official chapter break thing after we rescued Bastila or whatever. But at some point I'd like to get back to that, because Knights of the Old Republic's a freaking great game. It's really, really good. But yeah, I'd like to get back to it, finally get our asses off Taris, and then do all the Jedi stuff. And honestly, the game just gets way better after that point, really. I'm surprised I managed to slog that as far as I did through the whole Taris prologue thing before I actually stopped playing it. To be completely honest with you, I didn't think I'd get even as far as rescuing Bastila at one point. But yeah, so that's not gone, but it's on hold, basically, along with everything else, really. At this point, there's other things people ask me about, like Kaiserreich. You know, Kaiserreich is fun. We did do 3 series of it already, though, and the problem with Kaiserreich is it seems like a great idea to begin with, but then when you actually get into the nitty gritty of the combat, it gets incredibly grindy and very difficult to actually commentate on properly. To be honest with you, it really just sort of devolves into a sort of weird cookie clicking fest, really, where you're just sort of moving units around and attacking and flanking, and it's very difficult to actually give any proper sort of commentary on it, to be honest with you. I think if I were to go back and do that sort of thing again, the best way, honestly to do it would be to do live commentary for things like the setup and any pre-war stuff where you're doing, you know, research with tech teams and doing diplomacy and espionage and stuff like that. But once the actual fighting starts, it would be better to just sort of almost do post-commentary where you round up sort of what happened in the combat phase of whatever operations you're trying to do, and you know, do some highlights and things like that. Literally just sit there with the record button on and playing it, but with me not really actually saying anything, just playing the game, and then I'd come back to it and add commentary on top of it with it sped up like ×4 speed or something like that, and talking about what I was doing and that sort of thing, because that would almost work better, but unfortunately, obviously, that would require a lot more work to make. So I don't know, because I've had some messages from people about, like, apparently there's a Kaiserreich mod for Hearts of Iron 4 now, and will I try that at some point? I don't know, maybe. I've only played Hearts of Iron 4 a handful of times, and I sucked at it big time every time I did, so I don't know. The problem with those Paradox games is it takes quite a bit of investment of time to get good at them, and I don't really know whether I've got the time available to invest in getting good at Hearts of Iron 4 in order to be able to actually do some sort of video series on it, to be honest with you. There's a minimum level of competency I think you really need to actually be able to play any kind of game on YouTube or anything like that, to be honest with you, and I lack that level of competence with Hearts of Iron 4 at the moment, so... Right, I'm looking at I literally made notes for this, by the way. I made notes. I might have them on here at the minute, just to try and keep my scatterbrained nonsense down to a bare minimum, although I'm sure we've been going for like 22 minutes so far. Oh boy. Right, so I mentioned earlier some big channel changes, and I'll just go ahead and describe those now in as brief terms as I can. Basically, I am taking the second channel, and I'm turning it into basically just a channel like a lot of other YouTubers you're probably familiar with do have as well. Just literally just a channel for me to dump live streams on. You know, if I do live streams, I'm thinking about doing I need to ask another couple of guys who also are Twitch streamers about this, because they know how this works from a technical perspective. But I'm thinking of maybe like pushing my live streams onto YouTube in addition to Twitch at the same time, although the chat will still be on Twitch, so if you actually want to interact with it, you'd have to go to Twitch, but you could in theory watch it on YouTube as well. I don't know how that's going to work exactly. I need to get in touch with some people and ask them exactly how they do that, but that second channel is basically just going to be turned into where I put all the live streams, all the live stream VODs, which is video on demand, in case you've ever wondered what VOD stands for, VOD. But basically just all the live stream recordings will just go straight to that channel, where they can be just sort of saved for posterity, really. I mean, you can save them on Twitch, but sometimes it's easier for people just to have it on YouTube, I guess. Because YouTube, while their streaming platform is just rubbish, as a platform for viewing videos, obviously, is much better than Twitch. So that's what's going to happen to that, and basically all the normal video content that I make will simply go on the good old-fashioned, standard, regular channel, what you are probably watching this on right now. So, yeah, basically I'm moving all my shit back onto this one, and if you don't like that, then I don't really know what to say, because your alternative is basically you just get maybe a video every 3 months, and then nothing. So I'm going to start making all sorts of videos on this channel, and that's going to be flight sim stuff, in addition to other stuff like things, basically stuff that I already do stream regularly on Twitch, but I've never made videos of on here because I thought people would get pissed at me, and I've basically reached a point now where I don't actually care if people get annoyed with me because I barely read the comments as it is anyway. So, you know, things like Wargame, Red Dragon, which I streamed a bit lately, DCS World, X-Plane, Prepared, Euro Truck, American Truck Simulator as well, although that's kind of the same bloody game really, isn't it, at the end of the day, just with a different map. And probably some other stuff that I'm forgetting off the top of my head right now. IL2, that sort of thing as well. I have a bunch of sort of single-player campaigns, sort of type things that I want to run as like a YouTube series, kind of like I did back in the day with IL2. I don't know if some of you remember those videos I did, and also that Rise of Flight series I did as well. Basically campaign series. Whether Iron Man or not, I don't know. If it's sort of a scripted campaign with a story, then probably don't want to do it Iron Man. But if it's a dynamic one, like the ones you get in, say, Falcon BMS or IL2 Sturmovik, then it would be more fun to do it as an Iron Man thing. But I'd like to get back to doing some of those again, because I really enjoyed those back at the time. And I'm sure, well, plenty of you did as well, because plenty of you bloody tuned in to watch those videos. So, yeah, we'll do some stuff like that, and also some tutorials as well, because those flight sims, I really do absolutely enjoy them, but they're not the most accessible things in the universe, you know. People watch the videos, they get interested, then they have a go at it themselves, and they're like, I don't even know what's going on, help. So, I don't know. While there are plenty of tutorials out there, sometimes people prefer it when one is made by someone they already know, YouTube-wise, so, I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, the bottom line, though, is that you'll get more videos just being uploaded on a regular basis, and at least that's what I hope. Instead of having to sort of weirdly divide my time between 3 separate channels, I'm now just going to be YouTube and Twitch. And then that's basically, we're sorted. And then we'll have the extra channel where all the live stream recordings can go on, you know. And I think you will find that even if you're not even remotely interested in something like DCS, you'll probably find that I will upload more of the things that you are interested in if I'm just uploading stuff in general. Like, if I upload 3 DCS videos, I'm far more likely to say, I fancy doing some Morrowind now, or fancy doing some Skyrim now, than I am if I'm just uploading nothing for 4 months. If you see what I mean. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that sort of seems to be how my brain works. If you just get into the habit of making content, then you're more likely to branch out and make other bits of content just because you happen to be doing it at the time anyway. You get into a sort of rhythm. Which has worked for me when it comes to streaming stuff, but obviously because I was like splitting my attention between 2 YouTube channels and therefore doing basically fuck all on either of them, because I was also trying to juggle Twitch on top of that, it meant that I just rarely uploaded videos at all, even though when I did actually get around to doing them sometimes, like the Morrowind videos you sporadically got towards the end of last year, I did really enjoy them. But the gaps between them were just huge because I wasn't able to make a habit out of anything. So I don't know if that... I don't know, I'm probably just talking about random rubbish right now. Everyone's just watching this. If they haven't already switched off already, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I don't know, whatever. Dislike, unsub. So, yes. Wow. I've been talking for nearly half an hour. Right, well, there you go. Anyway, so, that's the big bumper edition, huge, rambly 2017 update of Doom. Too long, didn't listen. Version is make this channel great again, basically. Just lots of videos covering all sorts of different games, strategy games, simulators, that kind of thing, in addition to the usual fare. And if you don't like it, then that's fine. But if you do like it, then hopefully that's good, because you're going to get way more stuff in this next year. Way, way, way more content. And then the more we branch out, the more different things we can do. Like, I'm not even going to bother trying to list them right now, but I have a huge, huge list of shit in my head that I want to do video-wise. that up until now I didn't want to bother doing, because I felt like if I came along and did a video of it after like a month of not doing any videos, people would get pissed that I'd uploaded something that wasn't Skyrim or Morrowind or something like that. Does that make sense to you? I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Like, I've had ideas for series that I want to do, but I haven't done them because I thought people would get annoyed that it wasn't something that was already running. Like, there wasn't a video that they wanted. Like, it's like, oh, you've not made a video for 3 months, and now you come back with us with this shit, you know, instead of where's my Morrowind, where's my Skyrim, and I probably shouldn't care about that stuff too much, but I sort of do on a certain level. So, and that's why, you know, nothing ever got done, I suppose. But anyway, Christ, okay, I've rambled on for long enough now. 30 minutes and 28 seconds, according to this. So, yeah, wow. Okay, so I'm done. I'm done, folks. That was the general gist. I hope you, I don't know, maybe you just put me on in the background there, tab somewhere while you were getting on with some other stuff. That's probably fine. But anyway, if you did bother to sit through this entire ramble, good for you. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the stuff that's coming up this year, because yeah, we're gonna make some changes, and they're hopefully going to be good ones that just result in us making way more stuff. Because I'd like to make this sort of a proper full-time thing again, as opposed to just something that was getting in the way of other stuff that I was doing at the time. Obviously, I do have other real-world things going on. The big deal this year, obviously, is I'm hoping to get my private pilot's license finally, because I do finally have the money for that. I finally saved up all the cash I needed to actually do it. I can't really do it right now, though, because the weather in the UK is so appalling around this time of year that you just can't go flying. But it is going to happen this year. And then in June as well, I'm going to go to America for Flight Sim Con as well. So that'll be a fairly big deal as well. Like, if obviously, if any of you are over in the US and you're interested in, you know, meeting people there, like, I'd be happy to say hello if anyone wants to come along to Flight Sim Con. I went to the UK equivalent at Cosford last year, and that was really, really bloody good fun. So I'm looking forward to going to the US to do that whole sort of thing as well. It should be good fun. I intend to stay for like a week or two in the US, because I mean, fucking hell, if I'm going to fly all the way over there, I might as well make the most of it, eh? So that should be cool. But yeah, aside from things like that, in the meantime, when I'm not dealing with that kind of shit, I want to make a real go of getting this YouTube channel back on track, because it has stagnated like fuck over the last year or so. 2016 was not a good year for this YouTube channel, whichever way you slice it. So let's make 2017 a really good fucking year for this YouTube channel, eh? Alright, well, anyway, that's it. 32 minutes of just solid rambling bullshit from me. I'm going to go get a glass of water right now, because my throat is actually physically dry after all of that. Good grief. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will get finished editing this. I will upload this first, so you don't all get mad at me for uploading a 30-minute rant and no actual gameplay videos. So I will upload this video here first before I do this one. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this afternoon at least. And then I think this evening I'm probably going to stream as well on Twitch. At least that's my plan anyway, so we'll see what happens anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, cheers, thank you. If you've got any helpful suggestions or comments, leave them down below. I might eventually get around to reading them. We'll see. And, yeah, cool. Whatever. I've got another couple of things planned for the future as well. Possibly some sort of Q&A thing like we used to do back in the day, but I'm still trying to get my head around exactly how I want to organise that, because it is not going to work using the old format, because there's about 100 times more of you now than there were back when I originally did those Q&A series. So we'll see. Anyway, never mind. Oh yeah, and there is one other super duper top secret project I'm working on, but you probably won't see the results of that for maybe even a year from now, actually, to be honest with you. But I thought I'd mention it just now anyway to tease you. But we'll see. We'll see what comes of that, if anything. I don't know. It's going to take a lot of effort to get sorted out, but we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, cheers, everyone. Have a great new year. and I will catch you whenever the next video is, or whenever the next stream is, or whatever. So, yeah, have a good one. Toodles.